Okay, so let's talk about MomentiveIQ. It's this brand new platform that's trying to solve a headache that, well, if you're an association executive, you know it all too well.
Just for a second, think about your own tech stack. Are you constantly wrestling with different software that just refuses to talk to each other? You know, that daily frustration, that friction you feel from having all these disconnected systems? That is exactly the problem we're going to unpack today.
And here's the thing. Look at the scale of this problem. On average, associations are juggling somewhere between 4 and 12 different software systems. I mean, think about it. You've got your association management system, your event platforms, learning systems, fundraising tools. It's a total recipe for data chaos.
And that chaos leads to some very real, very familiar pain, right? It's your staff spending hours upon hours in spreadsheet purgatory, just trying to create a single report. It's your finance team chasing down numbers that just don't add up. And it's you, the executive, trying to make critical decisions with a broken, totally incomplete picture of what your members are actually doing. Does any of that sound familiar? I bet it does.
So out of all this chaos, we've got a proposed solution, a brand new platform called MomentiveIQ.
Now, this launch didn't just happen in a vacuum. I mean, look at this timeline. It shows this is all part of a super rapid, really aggressive strategy. You've got a major rebrand, the launch of this flagship AI platform, and then, get this, just one day later, the massive acquisition of Personify. This is a company making some serious power moves.
And here, in their own words, is the grand vision. They're not just trying to connect software. They're aiming to create a purpose-built platform for 360-degree insights with, and this is the key phrase, intelligence at its core. That is an incredibly ambitious goal.
So what does this new ecosystem actually look like? Well, the scale is just wow. It's massive. With that Personify acquisition, this platform is now being trained on data from over 287 million members, 500,000 events, 35 million certificates. That enormous data set, that's the fuel for its AI engine.
All right, so what does intelligence platform actually mean? Let's get past the marketing buzzwords for a minute and break down how this thing is really built.
You know, the easiest way to understand the architecture is to think of it in 4 layers. At the very foundation, you've got the data hub. Think of it like a universal translator that gets all your Momentive apps speaking the same language. Then you build on top of that. You've got analytics for insights, an AI agent library for automation, and finally a widget library to deliver those cool personalized experiences back to your members. And this is the most important part to get. This isn't just another integration tool. The whole goal here is to create a brand new layer of intelligence that sits on top of your existing systems. It's a layer that learns from everything happening across your entire association to power insights and automate workflows that, frankly, a single system could never handle on its own.
Okay, so that's what it is. Now for the really important part. Is this a potential fit for your association? Let's figure that out.
This here is like a quick litmus test. So, look at the left side. If you're manually building reports, if you can't answer simple questions like, hey, who attended our conference and got certified? And if you're already using 4 or more Momentive products, well, you are a prime candidate. Now look over at the right. If you really prefer vendor flexibility, or you happen to have an AMS that already does it all, this probably isn't the solution for you.
Now this is a really critical distinction to make. MomentiveIQ is not a replacement for your AMS, your association management system, your Aptify, your Netform, your Personify. That remains the system of record. That's your ultimate source of truth. MomentiveIQ is designed to be a system of intelligence that sits on top, analyzing data from those records to find all the interesting patterns and insights. So if you're thinking this might actually be a fit for you, the decision suddenly becomes a lot less about the technology itself and a whole lot more about your core philosophy.
This chart really helps frame MomentiveIQ not in a vacuum, but as one of 4 pretty distinct strategic choices. You can go all in with a single vendor's ecosystem, which is the MomentiveIQ play. Or you could choose a vendor-agnostic tool like Acumen, or use the native AI in a huge platform like Salesforce, or, hey, go the full DIY route with something like Tableau. Each of these approaches has its own serious trade-offs.
And this is where things get really interesting. That Personify acquisition, it suddenly pulls over 17,000 organizations into this conversation. For all of them, this is no longer some distant idea. It's a sudden, very real opportunity to add enterprise-grade AI right on top of their existing investment. That fundamentally changes their tech roadmap, and honestly, it signals a major consolidation in the entire association tech space.
So ultimately, it all boils down to this single strategic question.
Are you prioritizing the deep, seamless integration of a unified intelligence inside one ecosystem, or do you value the freedom and the flexibility to choose the absolute best-in-class vendor for every single one of your needs?
Okay, let's bring this all together with the final takeaway. And one last critical question for you and your team to think about.
So why does any of this matter? Why should you care? It matters because of this number right here. Research shows that 85% of members report higher satisfaction when their association is seen as a technology early adopter. The tech you choose directly impacts how your members perceive your entire organization, and you know what? Ultimately, they're loyal.
So, to recap everything, MomentiveIQ is here to solve data chaos. Its real power is only unlocked by being deeply embedded in their ecosystem. The decision to adopt it is a big strategic choice between integration and flexibility. And because of that huge personified deal, this is a conversation that thousands of organizations are now having for the very first time.
And that brings us to the final thought I really want to leave you with. As you look at platforms like MomentiveIQ and this broader trend towards AI and unified data, the real question isn't just about this one product. It's about your vision. So ask yourself this: is your technology strategy built for the next 5 years or for the last 5?